So, the advice that I probably give the most as a running coach is to slow down and truly run easy on your easy days. And this is because it's one of the biggest factors in seeing gains in your running with getting faster, getting stronger, as well as having longevity in this sport and staying injury free. Unfortunately, it's also one of the most ignored pieces of advice. In some cases, that's on purpose, and in other cases, not. And a lot of times it comes down to a runner thinking that they're running easy enough when they're actually not. And then I also have people tell me, oh, well, I just can't run that easy, when that's just complete BS, sorry to say. So I want to get through to you guys how important this is. And to be honest, I was just like all of those people, maybe you, saying the things like, I can't run that slow, or that doesn't need to be me, or it's not going to get me to my goals. Because I think a lot of times it comes down to people not running easy enough, not running slow because they think they're not going to reach their goals if they're running slow. And that's the opposite of the truth. In fact, I'll tell you guys right here, I'm reading this awesome book, Run Like a Pro. It's by Ben Rosario and Matt Fitzgerald. Some of the biggest names in the running community, and even the elites, guys, are running 80-20, so 80% easy running. So if the elites can run 80% of their runs at an easy pace and put up those performances, then we can too. And so I want to give you guys the proof today that is not just about me. I'll share my experience as well, but I'm hoping if I can share enough stories with you guys to see these incredible outcomes with a lot of easy running, then you will understand that it will work for you as well, because it's so important and I want you to reach your potential as a runner. All right, before I get into these stories, I just want to make sure we're on the same page about what I mean by easy running. So it is conversational. You can hold a conversation easily with someone. It is about a 3 out of 10 on a rate of perceived exertion scale. It is about 75% of your maximum heart rate if you're someone who measures heart rate. And it is 2 to 3 minutes or slower than your 5K pace. So yes, if you're not used to it, it will feel pretty slow, and that is a good thing. So let's talk about the proof is in the pudding with these people right here. So last year I put up PRs in every distance that I raced. So 5K, 10K, 15K, and then 2 marathons. So one of the biggest things that I attribute this to is slowing down. So even though I had the fastest races of my life last year at the age of 41, I also had the slowest running in my training that I have ever had. So if that isn't proof right there, I don't know what is. But I also want to say, yes, there were other factors, but one of the biggest things about me slowing down so much was that I was able to get the mileage that I needed to put up those performances as well. So if you want to be able to increase your mileage that you need to be able to race faster, you're going to have to slow down in your training, or you're not going to be able to do it all. All right, so next, let's talk about these 2 women, Tiffany and Renee. So these were first-time marathoners last year and this year, and they qualified for Boston on their very first time running a marathon, which is very rare. Most people, it takes them at least a handful of marathons to qualify for Boston, if they ever do. Only a small percentage of people actually end up qualifying for Boston. So I coached both of these runners, and I will tell you guys, both of them, I had to have multiple conversations early on about slowing down. I would look at their runs. You're not running easy enough. They'd say, okay. They would try. And in the end, they really trusted the process. They trusted me. They trusted what I had to say as a coach. They knew that running easy was where it's at. And they would end up having incredible long runs. They were able to easily complete the long runs without any problem because they were running them at a slow enough pace. So ultimately, they slowed down on their easy days. And so when it came time for their speed sessions, they did an amazing job, really capitalized on those because they were running easy mileage throughout most of the rest of the week. So next, let's talk about those people getting huge PRs. So these are people who have already raced before. They've raced marathons specifically, and they put up great performances, getting huge personal records in their recent marathons that they ran. So this is Heather and Dan. They actually both were going for similar time goals, trying to get that sub 4. So getting something like a 30-minute to an hour PR is a very big deal and takes a ton of work. It also takes a lot of trust trusting in the process, and having a coach to help you along the way is a big part of that. But in the end, it was lots and lots of easy running on their part. So Heather was able to do so much more mileage this training block than she did her last training block. And that's because she was running easy enough on her easy days. And so she wasn't feeling overly fatigued. She was able to put in an extra day of running per week. And she was able to do incredible long runs with lots of hills in them and still feel really, really strong throughout her training. And so much of this is attributed to that easy pace running that she was doing so much of. So she got a 3:54, her exact time goal, and it was almost exactly a 30-minute PR from the marathon that she had only run like 8 months previously. It's a really big deal. And then Dan, I'll actually completely say he did this on his own. I only started coaching him just before his marathon, just to start talking strategy. And then afterwards, I'm still training him now. But he researched a ton throughout his time of marathon training, wanting to make sure he was putting the pieces together. And the training plan, he followed it to a T. It did have some race pace runs in his training plan, but the rest of the week was easy running. And he went a lot by heart rate, making sure that he was running with a low heart rate in that aerobic zone every time he was doing those easy runs, to make sure that he was actually doing them the way that they were prescribed. So this was a huge part of him meeting his goal for his marathon, getting just under 4 hours, which was his goal, 3:59 and change, over an hour PR, you guys, from the marathons that he ran like 12 years ago when he was much younger. And again, going back to that easy running, it's so important. They really were getting this right. That's a huge reason they were able to get those personal records. So guys, this isn't just about marathon runners. So I know that's what I've talked about so far, but this goes for anyone training for anything. You have to have 80% easy running. So the last people I want to talk about are Sal and Shane, two other runners that I coach, and they are very new to this sport. Shane just started running last December, and I think Sal started running sometime last year consistently as well. When they came to me, they started wanting to make running more of a lifestyle and started racing for the first time as well. So it was only recently that these two men started racing, and really their training when they came to me was all easy running. And did they maybe want something speedier? Yeah, maybe they did, but I told them this is what we need to do right now. This is the most important thing. You need to build up your volume first. We can add in intensity later on, but while you're building volume, it should only be easy running. And even with only easy running, you guys, these guys have put up such amazing performances, hitting their predicted paces and then some. They're just getting more confident race after race and smashing these PRs. And this is with a huge emphasis on easy running. Only easy running before. Now both of them are actually finally starting to incorporate some speed work because that's the level that they're at. But you guys can make incredible gains just by doing easy running, especially if you are a newer runner. You will get faster and faster and faster for a pretty long time, only incorporating easy running, and you'll keep your body strong in the process and stay injury-free, which is a huge reason why you should be doing most of your running at an easy pace anyway. You cannot withstand higher intensity training if you're not doing the low intensity training that you're supposed to be doing the majority of those runs. So guys, if you're one of those people who feels guilty about doing easy runs, don't. If you are someone who can't stand what your slow pace looks like on Strava, then get off Strava. In the end, you need to tell yourself that this is the most important thing that you need to be doing for your training right now, is running most of your miles at an easy pace. Don't let anything outside change that for you, or your ego, or whatever it might be. You need to remind yourself that you're doing the best thing for yourself by running easy 80% of the time. And if you guys are still unsure about what easy pace looks like, I have a whole video on that and I will link it. And then you can go about making sure that you are running easy enough. And you guys, I'll tell you, it's probably gonna be a lot more enjoyable for you in the end anyway. I know that once I finally got this concept down, I started loving running so much more, and it was so exciting to start seeing PRs, feel all of that fitness when I was racing, knowing that all of that easy running was the exact right thing to be doing.